and this is my how I lost my husband to drugs video. If you hear like a little bit of rustling, that's my son. So basically I'm holding my camera, so my arm might get a little tired, so if I go like all over the place, I apologize. But let's get started. So I had to have surgery on November 16th. So I left. We were staying at a hotel or whatever because he just got out of jail November 10th. So we I was there with him, just spending time with him, spending time with our son and everything. And then blah blah, spending time together, blah. And I'm sorry. I had to have surgery on the 16th. So on the 14th, I left, and me and my son left. And I had to have surgery on the 16th. I went back on the 16th too, because I needed somebody that could look after me while I was like going through surgery and stuff. So I basically told him that would be my husband. And I told him I'd be my husband. I got there. I got there to the hotel, back to the hotel, and he was entering the door, blah, blah, right? And he was acting real crazy. Like, I didn't know what was wrong with him. He was just acting like not himself. Like, he was like acting hella paranoid. Like, he thought there was people around. And sorry. He thought there was people around and stuff. And he thought that I was trying to set him up, like kill him. And he was seeing people, he's hallucinating, I believe. And then the people, because then I called the police, and then I left that night because he was acting hella crazy, like super crazy. And I left that night, and then he got heckin' mad, and I got a phone call that night, and he told me he was in the middle of the street. He was like, I love you, Makai, goodbye. So I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm going like crazy, like crazy. Like, I'm over here like stressing and everything, like, oh my god, answer your phone. I called the hotel. The hotel said he wasn't on the back street of the hotel, because there's like a street behind the hotel. He wasn't on the back street. He wasn't in his room. Like, they had to check his room. And I was like, at this point, I'm freaking out. But at the same time, he was on probation. So it was like, I didn't know whether or not he was on drugs. So I didn't want him to go back to jail. So I ended up like, you know what, I'd rather him be in jail than dead, you know? So I called the police. Police found him. And then I had to call the police center back because they said they would call me back. They didn't call me back. You know how they'd be like, oh, we'll call you back, we get information. Where was the information at, sis? Like, I had to call y'all back. How that make sense? But, called the police back. They said, oh yeah, we had got him, we took him to a crisis center, said that he needs help, whatever, right? And then once we got to, I called the crisis center. She's like, oh, we can't disclose any information, blah blah blah, right? And I was like, okay, blah blah, whatever. They took him to the hospital because he had a problem with his heart, right? Took him to the hospital, he had a problem with his heart. And that's when they found out like I had went, and then took him to the hospital, and I went the next morning because I needed to see like what's going on with him, you know, like why is he acting like this, you know? And then they said they had pulled me aside. It's like, did you know that he was on meth, like crystal meth? I was like, no, I didn't know. I did not know that, or whatever, right? And then they told him blah blah blah, all that. And then I had brought a picture with me of our son and stuff. He's like, I'm never gonna see my son again. I don't want to be away from you. All I want is you and Kai. All I have is you and Kai left and stuff, right? And I'm over here like, you like for real? Like, you for real? Like, this is how you acting? Like for real? And then what you call it? What happened after that? I had left that night, like late at night, because I was like, I didn't want it seem like I wasn't like I know I'm not going to support his decision in doing drugs, but I like the way he was acting. He was acting real paranoid, so I didn't want him to think that I was still setting him up, and that's why I wasn't there, you know. But then when I got there, he was still acting crazy. He's acting real crazy, talking about, oh, if you love me, you would have came here alone, blah blah, right? And at this point, I'm just like, what are you even talking about? He's like, there's people standing right there, pointing at me with guns and stuff, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you, like, if people that, we're at the hospital. We're at the hospital. And, like, then I was like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? Like, if there was people with guns at the hospital, they would have got escorted out. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and then, like, he was acting real crazy. So I left that night or whatever. And he was like, okay, I love you, bye. He was like, yeah, I love you, bye, whatever. Like, he was being, like, real, like, pushing me off, like, whatever, you know? And then, I didn't go the next day. I didn't go. He was in there for 2 more days because he was on a 72-hour hold, like a 72-hour suicide hold, right? So I didn't go there for those 2 days. I was like, you need to just detox. You feel me? You need to just detox because this ain't popping, honey. This ain't popping to where you acting hella crazy and stuff, you know? So I did that. And then the social worker called me, was like, oh, do you feel like he's safe to go home by himself? I was like, yeah, because at that point, I was still calling him. Making sure he was cool. It's not like I was just ignoring him for 2 days. Like, no, I was calling him to make sure he was good, you know, like, checking up on him. He was calling me, calling him. Like, it was like, it felt like he was in jail again. Like, he had a certain times because they had to do, like, blood tests and, like, x-rays and MRIs, all that other stuff, you know, all that jazz, you know. So her work called me, blah, 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 yeah, right? And he had a check, right? He had a check. And I'm not going to tell you the amount of the check for disclosure, but he had a check. So he was like, oh, can you get me, because I had all his, like, social information and stuff. The only thing he has was ID. So I set up a little thing on the little bank I had him go to. I got him an Uber to the bank, right? I was talking to him the whole time, that whole night. Like, keep in mind, this is the day before Thanksgiving, bro. This is November 21st. Like, he went in the hospital, I believe, November 18th, and then, or November 17th, November 18th, one of those. And then for psychosis, so that's what they said it was going on, for psychosis. So, yeah, he was acting real crazy and stuff. And, where was I? Got backtracked. Where was I? Oh, November 21st, right? Yeah, November 21st. I got him to Uber to the bank. Blah, blah. He did not go up in there. Like, I called the bank. I was like, did he go up in there? And he was like, no, we have not seen him. I was like, so where are you at? Like, I called him. I was like, because his phone was dead while he was at the hospital. So he finally got his phone charged. I was like, hello? Where you at? Like, why didn't you go to the bank? He was like, oh, I just cashed my check, whatever, at the nearby store, right? And then I was like, oh, okay, whatever, right? And I talked to him. Like, I was literally on the phone with him all freaking, like, keep in mind, he was hella paranoid at the hotel we were at. So he had a whole new hotel, and I didn't know where he was at. Like, I really didn't know. I didn't know where he was at, but I know I was on the phone with him. He said he was at the hotel. Only reason I really, like, believed that he was at the hotel is because it was hecka quiet, for one. And then for two, I heard, like, cabinets, like, slamming, right? So I don't know whether or not he stayed at the hotel or he went to a different hotel. But, what you call it? I think my son's getting irritated, but I got backtracked. So, lost my train of thought, guys. Where was I? Oh yeah, November 21st. So I done the blah, 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 talked to him all night. His phone went dead. I tried calling him a few times. He wasn't answering. Called him a few times again because the next day is Thanksgiving, right? So I'm calling him the morning of Thanksgiving. He wasn't answering. The phone's still dead. Keep calling, all day, right? All night, right? The night of Thanksgiving, bruh, I reported him missing because he was like, that wasn't like him. Like, he would at least like texting me and tell me something, like, you know, like if he wasn't gonna answer the phone, he would at least text me talking about I'm good, you know. And he wasn't texting me like at all, and I was really getting worried like what's going on. So I called the police, reported him missing. They said they found him. They said he was at the hospital, right? So we're at the same hospital he was at, just like, and they said that he was wandering around the nearby McDonald's or whatever. So I suppose like people from that American McDonald's like probably called the police, was like, oh, he's probably still acting crazy at this time. I'm like, whatever, blah blah blah, right? And then he went to the hospital, right? And they said, oh, he was at the hospital. Maybe you can call the hospital to give you further information. I can't give you any further information, right? Call the hospital. I called the hospital, and they told me I can't see him. And I'm like, why not? And it's like, oh, his dad put a block on him, so where I can't see him and he's the only one that can see him. And like, do you have a pin? I was like, no, I don't have a pin, but I'm his wife. Like, the fuck, like, excuse my language, but like, what do you mean I can't see him, right? And at this point, I'm calling every day, I'm calling every day, I'm calling every day, calling every day. Like, no, y'all gonna need to let me see him. Like, what the fuck is going on with him, right? And then for 2 days, for 2 freaking days, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, bro. For 2 days, because his dad had a freaking block on him. And then I called the hospital again that next day. I called the hospital again. And they told me, the social worker, I talked to the social worker, I was like, oh, can I come down there or whatever, right? It was like, oh yeah, because we keep on chart, because he had a reoccurring dislocated shoulder. His shoulder was messed up, like real messed up. So I was with him every single time. So they said they had it on record, like recorded, that I've been there like every single time, like, and I've been there every single time. Nobody can tell me no difference. I was there every single time. Cause we went to the hospital every day. Cause his shoulder, like, it was real bad. So it was recorded. It's like, oh, well, yeah, you can come down, blah blah blah. You can come down, right? And I asked a few questions. I said, is he breathing on his own? They said no. I was like, okay. All right. I said, is he going to be okay? They said they don't know. And I was like, at this point, I'm crying, bro. Like, the time I'm still laying in bed. It's like 9-10 o'clock in the morning. I'm still laying in bed. And I'm over here like, oh, can I come see him? It's like, oh, yeah, you can come see him. I packed my son up some stuff. I can't hurry up and get dressed. I hurry up and get him dressed. I get ordered a little Uber because I don't have a car. I don't know how to drive. Okay. And then I get there. I go in because they gave me the PIN number. So I call, you know, call. They let me in. I go in there with my son and his car seat, blah, 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 all the stuff, diaper bag, you know, just the essentials. And I go up in there. I couldn't even walk in the door, bro. I looked, because I went in, and I turned around the corner, and I went around. And I looked at him, and he was hooked up to so many tubes. He was hooked up to so many tubes, and I stood there right by the door, and I couldn't go in. For the life of me, I couldn't walk in there. Like, I sat there for a good, like, 5-10 minutes, like, on the side of the door. Because, like, it's, like, the room's like this, right? Just, like, this little wall right here, separate rooms, right? I'm standing right there by that little wall. And I'm, like, my stomach, like, I'm clenching my stomach. My heart is, like, it felt like it was shredding. Like, and then the doctor come in, blah, 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 tell me some stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, this is like, we're taking up the fentanyl drip. We took him off the fentanyl drip this morning. So keep in mind, he was on fentanyl drip for 2 days. Right. And then, at this point, I'm just like, he probably took meth again, right? And then I'm just sitting there, and like my son is like, he's running all over the place. He's a toddler. This little boy's a toddler. Like, he's gonna explore. He's gonna want to explore stuff, right? So he like, I'm trying to look at Daniel, I'm trying to be there for Daniel, and at the same time I'm trying to watch over his toddler. I call up his family, like he's in the hospital. Like I call his sister first. I was like, Daniel's in the hospital, like he's not breathing on his own. He's hooked up the tubes and stuff. And she was like, oh, do you want me to come and get baby? I was like, I thought about it for a second, because I'm like, I'm real protective about my son, real protective. So and then she asked me, it took me a minute. I was like, yeah, Q, come get him, right? And then, but I'm trembling, like I'm shaking. I'm sorry if I'm moving the camera a little bit, but I'm shaking. But it's like, I lost him, you know? Like, I'm not getting him back. Like, he's gone. And like at this point, like I keep trying to have faith. I have somebody come pray over him. I have like, because he was Muslim, so I had to, like, I don't know the correct term, but he came and gave him blessing or prayed over him or something. I had my church come pray over him. I had the hospital pastor, preacher, I don't know what it's called, come pray over him. Like, I was like, bro, like, we need like as much prayer as we can get. Like, I was posting on social media, like, pray for him, please. Like, if you even cared about him at all, like, pray for him, you know? And then, and then, okay, alright. And then, I was like, I was just there. Like, I didn't, like, keep in mind, I did not leave. Like, I wasn't eating either. Like, I had the nurses, like, forcing me to eat, like on me every day that I was there. Like, have you ate anything? Have you drank anything? I was like, no. It's like, do you want anything? No, I'm okay. And at this point, they're getting worried because I'm not eating nothing. So I can get malnourished, you know? I'm at the hospital because of course they don't care about your health, whatever, right? I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm just sitting in the little chair. I'm just looking at him. Like, I didn't want to leave his freaking side, y'all. Like, I was... Because he's at this point, like, this is his fight. Like, and I was praying so hard that he was okay, but in my head, I kind of already knew. It's like, it was like, casting in my head, like, I already knew, like, he's not gonna make it. And that broke me. That really broke me to know. Like, I was praying, I had everybody else praying, but I knew, like, in the back of my head, he wasn't finna make it. And then they had, like, a couple days later, fast forward, whatever, right? Of course, I had to be cordial with his dad. I had to be cordial. Like, I did not want to be looking at his face all day. But you know what? I just had to be cordial and deal with it, you know? Because I damn sure wasn't leaving. What? Go where? No, I'm not leaving, you know? And... a couple days later, we had to make a decision. I said, blah. They gave us false hope. Like, we were in the meeting. We were, like, me, his dad, doctors, nurses, student nurses, and stuff. We're all in the room, right? Keep in mind, the nurse, I think she's a nurse practitioner, I think. And she was the same person that was in the meeting when we had to decide for his mom, because his mom passed away now it's 2 years ago because we're in 2019. But his mom passed away 2 years ago. And she was the same person. So I was like, you look kind of familiar. Blah, blah. She was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I said his mom's name, and it was like, oh yeah, I remember you, blah, blah, blah. Right? Like, because I was like, he was looking familiar too. And they said, oh, there might have been a slight chance, blah, blah. So they gave us false hope. Right? They gave us false hope. The nurse practitioner that was the same one that knew me from before, from his mom, she pulled me aside to a different, patient room, right? And she pulled up it on the computer. She pulled up his MRI, right? Pulled up his MRI. Yo, I'm sorry if it's like the camera's moving, but I'm like shaking, like just like talking about it, like, because it's like I have to remember and I have to picture, and I like all the visions are like flashing in my head, and it's like, but she pulled up the picture, and she said it was supposed to be real defined, like real, like your brain's supposed to look like a whole bunch of the intestines, basically, you know, like a whole bunch of intestines, and his brain was not looking like that at all, like at all. And then I asked, I was like, if by any chance do you have his mom's MRI, right? And she was like, no, but she has a CT. Look at the CT, right? He was gone. Like, from the time his mom came in and everything, she was gone from the minute she stepped up in the hospital. But Daniel, like, he had like a slight chance, like the itty bitty chance, right? But then after, like, the longer he was in there, like, the longer it was like he was swelling up and everything. And he was swelling up. For y'all to see what I'm talking about, if I can, I'll insert a picture here. So I'm about to stop the video and then record another video. So hold on. Be right back. Okay, so now y'all saw the picture. Like, he's hooked up to machines. He's swelling. Like, he's getting bigger, you know. And he yeah. And then I talked to his dad. I was like, you know what? I don't want to. I really did not want to. Like, really did not want to. But in the back of my mind, I was like, we gotta let him go. I called his, like, this time, like, his family already been up here. Like, his family's already been visiting him. His aunts, his uncles, cousins, old friends, high school friends, family friends. Like, they all coming. They all coming to see him, say their final goodbyes and stuff, right? And I called them all up. I was like, we're taking him off tomorrow. You know, we taking him off. Like, there ain't no chance. Like, we're taking him off. And if you're wondering, yes, this is my my wedding ring, but my engagement ring actually. But yeah, did that, and then I was in the room. I was the only one in the room, except for like the nurses and stuff, you know, when they're taking all the plugs. And then it was like he was wheezing, like he was like he was wheezing, you know, and it's like, and stuff. But right before we had to go in the meeting to decide whether to take him off, his heart rate shot up. And when I tell y'all it shot up so high, like his heart rate shot up to where his heart was like boom, 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 you know. And as soon as I saw that, it was like my heart was doing the same thing. It was like going boom, 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 you know. Like, so I'm freaking out. Like, I feel like I'm about to pass out. Like, I feel like I'm dizzy and stuff. I was like, blah, blah, like, we're going to the meeting. We talk, blah, 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 and then we talk about like taking them off and stuff. And I was like, oh, does everybody agree? I started breaking down. I had to step out. People were like, oh, are you okay? I ignored all of them. I stepped out. I went out the door, double doors, right? And then I went out and it took me a minute. I was like splashed them onto my face, like, and I was like, okay. I looked at myself in the mirror, in the bathroom mirror. I was like, you don't want to do this. But at the end of the day, you can't be selfish. Like, you may want him here so bad, but at the end of the day, like, this isn't your life to be playing with, you know? And it's like, it's time to let him go. So I went back in a meeting. I drank some water. They gave me some water. I drank some water. And I was like, at first I didn't want him to have no medication. Like, I didn't want no more drugs in his body. And they said, oh, we're going to take him off everything except for the pain medication, because he had little activity in his brain, but nothing was connected. So it was just going all over the place, you know? And he had little activity, and it was like all over the place. So they said that the part that felt pain was probably still connected, and they said you'd want him to go peacefully, right? And I said, of course, you know, like, I'm not like, I want you to go peacefully. I just, like, for me, I don't really believe in medicine. Like, unless I'm dying or I'm in labor, I don't really believe in medicine. So it was like, okay, all right, this is an exception, because he's obviously dying. So took him off. I was only in the room, but I was sitting there just waiting. Like, this part is just a waiting game, like waiting for him to pass, basically. So I'm just sitting there. The next day, like, we took him off like in the afternoon, like 2-ish, 3-ish. Actually, it was like around 4. It was around 4, and we took him off. And then I was just in there, just holding his hand, just kept telling him, I love you, like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like, I'm gonna say like, I was trying to get every word in. Like, you know, because I ain't never go. I'm getting every word in. I don't care. Like, every word in. And then the next day, because that was November 29th. Next day, it's November 30th, right? It's the day he's going to pass. All morning, blah, blah, blah. All night, right? Around 8, like, at this point, I'm watching his oxygen level. And I'm watching his oxygen level, his heart rate, right? Our heart rate is up, oxygen level down, keep going. It's fluctuating at this point, right? And then I see his oxygen level going down. At this point, it keeps hitting 0, and then going up a little bit and hitting 0. I was on FaceTime with my mom. I was like, Mom, like, I was crying. I was like in like tears, and like I was like, he's passing. Like, I was a wreck. And then I hung up the phone, and then my auntie LaChana, my auntie Jackie, my mom was on the phone, right? And then they was like, I was broken. Like, I was crying my eyes out, and I was like, I couldn't even move. And then the doctor, I kept calling the nurse, but I'm like, he's passing. And then I'm texting his dad, like, I think Daniel's passing right now, or whatever, right? The nurse finally come in, and then the head nurse finally come in. They said, oh, they're gonna call it, whatever, because the doctor was busy or whatever. I don't know what happened. So they come in, and they listened to his heart for about, I think this was either 5 minutes or it was 10 minutes. Listen to his heart until it stopped. And I was sitting there in that chair right beside him, and then they was just listening. I was holding his hand, and the nurse came and put her hand on my shoulder. She was like, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, right? And I said, is he going? And she said, yeah. Said he's gone. And then he's gone. And then I said, what time? They said 8:35. Said 8:35. And I started breaking, like, even harder, you know. And then they started taking out all. And then at that point, they let down the little things, like, so he wouldn't move, you know? And at this point, I'm like, I'm the only one in the room right now, you know? So I'm in the room by myself. And I am, like, in tears. Like, I am broken. And then I go over to his bed, and I lay on him. Like, I'm laying on him. Like, what, Bubby? I'm laying on him, like, I'm hugging him, right? Like, I'm on him, like, hugging him. Like, I am, like, on the hospital bed with him, hugging him. Like, I'm not exaggerating this. And I was, like, and then I went to a point where I wasn't moving. I was silent. I was just looking at him. And then that's when his dad was there and my mom was there. And I'm sitting, like, his legs are kind of spread apart because he had a catheter, right? And I'm just sitting, and, like, between his legs, I'm sitting right there, and I'm just looking at him, like, you're gone, you know? Like, I'm just sitting there looking at him. And then sitting there looking at him. And I was there for a few hours. Like, I was there for a few hours. And I think I left around like 11 something, and he passed at 8:35. And then the funeral home people came to take him, right? And I broke down, like, when I saw him in that. I saw him put him in that bag. Then he wheeled him out in the bag, and then he put him in the van. And he drove away. At this point, his dad is still there. Like, that was the last time I saw him. But before the funeral home came, I went in there. Like, he was there. Like, he was, like, the funeral people were there. But before they went and got in and got him, I gave him a kiss, and I said, I love you forever. I said forever, because what we always said was forever and always, for eternity and beyond. And I said that to him. I said that to him, and then and they said, are you ready? I said, yeah. But in all honesty, now looking back on it, and I'm the only one in the room I was the only one in the room when he took his last breath, y'all. So imagine seeing the one person, like, you invest in your life in, like, just seeing him take their last breath, and he was foaming at the mouth, so it's like I already knew. Right? And then, I'm still pressing the nurse button on the bed, I'm still pressing it. And I gave him a kiss, and then we walked out. I walked out with the funeral director. While Daniel was in the body bag on the stretcher, you know? And then they put him in the van, and they drove away. That was the last time I seen him. And then right now, it's like, imagine, I didn't get to go to his funeral, guys. I didn't get to go. Because I tried calling the funeral home, and they said, oh, blah, blah, his dad made it private, so we're not allowed to give you any information, right? Okay. I'm calling his dad. Keep calling him. I'm texting him. My mom's texting him, Daniel's sister, not, like, she's an adopted sister, we just call her family, right? She's calling, texting. Her mom was calling, texting. And, like, he's not answering. Like, I have his other sisters, like, calling and texting. I have his uncle calling and texting, you know. Like, I'm trying to go to this funeral. Like, I need, like, my final goodbyes, you know. And I didn't get to go. And right now, at this moment, I don't know. I don't know whether he's cremated or he's buried. I don't know. So imagine not only losing the one you love, but because I went to the funeral home, and I knew he was there. Like, I knew they didn't have the funeral I know they didn't have the funeral arrangements, like, already, because, and I stepped into that funeral home, and I literally felt like my heart stopped, like I couldn't breathe, and my legs got weak, and I could not breathe. So I had to sit down, right? I sat down, I'm up here, I'm panting, like, and my heart is pounding, like, boom, 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 boom. So it's like, I feel like we had an emotional connection. So I feel like he was there. Like, I feel like we were connected, and, like, we went into the funeral, we talked to the funeral director, blah, 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 the manager, right, blah, 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 blah. And they basically told us the same thing. They told us over the phone, like, we can't give you no information, like, okay. So, yeah, and, I haven't even talked about this. Like, I've never even said all this out loud yet. Till right now. But it's like, I lost my husband. My son's the part that hurts the most, like the part that hurt. No, I forgot to tell y'all. Forgot to tell you. When they moved him to a different room, they moved him to the first, because he was on the 3rd floor. They moved him to the 1st floor, and then they said that not only, because when he got to the hospital, he was conscious. So not only was he on meth, y'all, not only, but he was also on, meth, cocaine, and heroin. And he injected it into his bloodstream, into his veins. And only that he was beat too, so he had bruises on the back of his head, right? So that broke me. Like, that November 30th, 2018 will forever be the worst day of my life. But thank you guys if you made it this far in this video. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below like video ideas, because this is gonna be a nice video. I didn't know what to do after this one. So like, comment, subscribe, comment video ideas below. My Instagram, I'll put it in the description, but my Instagram is ladymoney.mitch, and my Snapchat is my name, which is Ray Shante. And yeah, so I'll put that down on the description, in the description down below. But thank you for listening. Alright, bye guys.